the Citybird SUV.
Gujarat Titans versus Punjab Kings is match number 17 of the season. What can we expect as Gujarat chase a third straight home win in a row and Punjab look to avoid 3 defeats on the bounce? On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout. We're joined by Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan and Varun Aaron to set that game up. Tom, Punjab back-to-back defeats after starting the season with a win against Delhi. Is there anything that needs to change for them to look a better unit?
Well, they need, for a start, their local bowlers to start firing. That's what's really let them down. We had early discussions around their overseas combination and how they could possibly try to fit the Rabada-Ellis combination in, but I don't think that's their problem. I think their problem is their domestic pace options need to start firing. It's only Bra who's bowled particularly well, and the other one is Rabada, obviously, from an overseas standpoint, but the rest of their bowling looks very vulnerable.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think you've got to find a way of getting Ashdeep into the game a little bit earlier, maybe taking the new ball, and they've gone with the plan of having Sam Curran take the first over, and he was very good the other night against Quinton de Kock and Parakul at the top, but they were left-handers. The game where Sam Curran is open to right-handers, which he's going to be up against Gujarat, he's struggled with his line off the missing down leg, and I'd like to see Ashdeep get the first over with that new ball. I think he's a threat, and I think you need to give him the confidence as the Indian local bowler to take early breakthroughs.
We've discussed the domestic pacers a fair bit already, which points out how much of a problem it has been. But as much of a problem is Rahul Chahar and his wicket-taking returns, not just in the games we've seen this year, but even last year. He was not as much of the strike bowler Punjab thought they had signed at the auction.
Yeah, I mean, ever since he's left Mumbai Indians, I feel he's bowling a lot flatter, which is exactly why you don't see that many wickets coming, because, yes, his economy wasn't bad last year, but obviously we're talking about wickets, and he didn't have that many wickets because he's actually not bowling that many wicket-taking balls. So again, coming back to the point, if you're a strike bowler, then you have to be brave, toss the odd ball up, and try and get your team wickets. But again, back to the domestic players, I feel it's not just the bowling, but also the domestic batting, which hasn't really come good for Punjab, because they're depending heavily on Jitesh. They would love Prabh Simran to come in and play a few good cameos and take the pressure off somebody like Shikhar Dhawan, who's been performing year in, year out, every year for every single franchise. Sometimes guys like Warner, guys like Dhawan, guys like Virat, they would like the other domestic guys also to help out, so that just gives them more freedom so they can play with strike rates in excess of 130, 140. So I feel it's a mixed bag. It's a combination of the domestic batsmen and bowlers where Punjab have to get it right.
They aren't lacking in overseas firepower on the bench, Punjab. You look at that bench and there are quite a few options who make a compelling case. There's Riley Russo, Sikandar Raza, Nathan Ellis was so good for them. Is there a case for any of them, or is it too early to start fiddling with the overseas?
I think it's too early. There are some attractive options. The one that stands out most to me is Sikandar Raza, particularly given that Bra's sort of been left sort of alone as the most effective spin option. You ideally want to have two good spin options. Chahar, as we've mentioned, has gone missing so far this tournament. Johnny Bairstow's just starting to find form. Last game, he looked like he was finding his feet, and we all know how much of a threat he can be when he's up and running. So that was good signs for Punjab. So I'd hold firm for now, but certainly they've got something to consider going forward.
Well, you might get your wish because Liam Livingstone went off with that quad complaint.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's whether they look for a genuine striker. I know Sikandar Raza strikes the ball beautifully, but do they go with Riley Rousseau, who's probably seen as more of a hitter, if they want a more of a top order option, or do they go with Raza, who's been in sensational form the last 18 months? And you're right, he takes some pressure off Bra and Chahal in the middle.
Which is really interesting discussion, because if the domestic batters were performing, you would go Raza. Mm-hmm. And they may just lean towards the specialist batter in Rousseau purely because they're concerned about, their misfiring batting order.
True. It also depends which strip GT plays on. Because if they play on the same strip which they played last game, then you might see Raza coming in. So it depends on the wicket as well. Riley Russo is an unbelievable player. He'll be a straight swap for Liam Livingston, but also it depends on the wicket. Considering Rahul Chahar is not in the best of form.
Right. Let's turn our attention to Gujarat Titans, who've won both their games at home so far, defending a total against Mumbai Indians and chasing in the day game that they played last time out. No real holes, but if you were to look at the batting mix, Sai Sudarshan is leading the run charts for them at a strike rate which is below 120, and Vijay Shankar has not really had a fixed role. Do they need to reconsider the middle order?
I think at the moment I'd be holding firm. They're starting to, a few pieces are falling together. We also need to consider this is a side off-season have had a number of big moves within their playing 11 with, the high-profile move of Hardik Pandya going to Mumbai and then Mohammad Shami, withdrawing because of injury. They're significant players. So, they'll be treading carefully, and they historically, and it's only been a short history, but have been pretty consistent with their selections. They've nearly, followed the CSK blueprint and tried to back their people. So I'd be surprised if there's too many moving pieces.
Yeah. Sai Sudarshan, to me, is the glue of that lineup. He's a game situational awareness type player. He reads the game, he plays to the occasion, and he hasn't really had to get out of that first or second gear. To me, he's looked very accomplished at the crease and very mature, and I've liked the way he's gone about it. I'd liken him to the role that you've had Kane Williamson do for you in the past, and you place your hitters around him. And he's got another gear. He can go when he needs to go, but at the moment, he's the guy who holds that whole batting line up together.
So Shah Rukh Khan will have to wait a bit for his first opportunity.
Not just Shah Rukh Khan, Abhinav Manohar. Abhinav Manohar has actually played really well for them throughout the 2 years. He's played some very, very good knocks, match-winning knocks. So I think if somebody plays instead of Vijay Shankar at this point, it would be Abhinav Manohar. But coming back to what Tom was saying, I think GT is one of those teams which makes their players feel really safe, gives them a lot of confidence that, listen, we're not going to chop and change too much. You guys feel secure in whatever roles we've given you. Take as many opportunities as possible. And they only change when they feel like, okay, this is really not working. And it hasn't come to that stage yet, so there's no reason to change.
All right. Thank you for your thoughts, gentlemen. Which way will it go then? Can Punjab stop Gujarat from making it a hat-trick of home wins? Be sure to catch the build-up just before toss time on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.